now it's time for Rewind, brought to you by our friends over at AMC Theatres. We have movies that were out 10 years ago. We're going to talk about 20 years ago. Natasha, what are some of those movies?
Okay, 10 years ago, V for Vendetta starring Natalie Portman and Hugo Weaving, She's the Man starring Amanda Bynes and Channing Tatum, and Thank You for Smoking starring Aaron Eckhart and Katie Holmes. And 20 years ago, Executive Decision starring Kurt Russell and Steven Seagal, Ed starring Matt LeBlanc, and Too Much starring Antonio Banderas, Melanie Griffith, and Daryl Hannah.
Well, it's obvious. You look at this list, and there's only one that stands out, and that's Ed, starring Matt LeBlanc.
Monkey movie.
My goodness, what a bomb that was. 20 years ago, this guy's doing Friends, and he can only do a monkey movie with Ed. V for Vendetta, man. I think V for Vendetta is one of those movies that the first time you see it, you're okay, and then the more you watch it, the better it becomes. It was directed by the Wachowskis. I know that people some people don't realize that. It's kind of rumored and stuff too, but that movie was directed.
Well, it was them and their guy, their cinematographer Tim Lee.
It was directed by
He's not having it.
He's not going to have it.
I'm telling you. And She's the Man. I know a lot of people that's kind of guilty pleasure for some people too. Thank you for Smoking. Right, that was Reitman's kind of first one out of the gate, wasn't it? Yeah, that was a good movie. The 20 years ago, I know Ellis is going to rave about Executive Decision, so I'll leave that alone. And I have no idea what Too Much is, but Ellis, go ahead. Rave away.
You know what really stands out to me is Ed, though, because I remember it coming out, and it's one of those movies to this day my brother and I still make fun of when we're texting each other, because, like, you're right, Matt LeBlanc, and it's like they saw the first season of Friends, which was back when Ross had that little pet monkey Marcel, and they're like, guys, I got an idea. What if we take Joey from Friends, and we give him an even bigger monkey, and wait, that monkey's going to play shortstop on a softball team.
Good God.
Go picture. Holy God, that sounds bad. I'm sure the movie holds up just as well as Dunstan Checks In does with sitcom star Jason Alexander. Executive Decision, I think, was a really cool action movie that, for whatever reason, gets a little overlooked when you're talking about the greats from the 90s, because you got Kurt Russell, Steven Seagal, two action heavy hitters, and without giving the movie away, I'm just going to say that their plot lines don't necessarily go where you think they might.
Schnepp, what sticks out?
Definitely not Ed. When you guys were talking about that, all I could think of was like Every Which Way But Loose. Remember that Clint Eastwood one with the
definitely not
goddamn orangutan?
Yeah. That was the Cannonball Run kind of feel.
There was kids. You're lucky you missed out on all this crap where everyone was like, team them up with an animal. There were a lot of fucked up animal human movies that you don't see anymore. This is one of them.
I just love Dan G's comment. What the hell is Ed?
Yeah, that's right. What is an Ed? Yeah, stay far away from it. It's nuclear and it rubs off on you. V for Vendetta is the one for me. I don't care what he says. This guy League helped make it. I know it's a Wachowski sisters. They made it with this guy. Whatever you want to say about it, I think it's great. I was a comic nerd and still am, so I read V for Vendetta, Alan Moore, David Lloyd. I couldn't wait when I heard that the Wachowskis were making it, because they had just kicked off the Matrix, and I was like, wow, they're going to do V for Vendetta, or at least produce it. They wrote the screenplay. They were heavily involved in it. I think it's a great adaptation. So V for Vendetta.
But you're telling me that, like, if your baseball team, like, if it's in the toilet in September and you know you're not making the postseason, like, say the Orioles aren't going to make it, you hire a monkey that can actually throw from shortstop, can throw home, and can throw. That's a great gimmick. You're going to sell out the rest of the season.